Hello. Hello. My dumbass thought this was a stream, not a PV. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just the PV. Whatever. I will watch it. Much shorter stream then. That works. I don't mind that we're not playing an hour of like Mirror Dungeon or IS at the start. That's fine. This is fine. We can then just watch it and rewatch it, and we can, I guess, yap about it a little bit. We can, I can use my Arknights knowledge to explain to the Limbusers the ego character selections. I guess we can take it as that. That's why I changed the title to Arknights Veteran something 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 for the clickbait. I can't actually go full screen yet until it like actually starts. We're breaking down a 2-minute trailer. I wonder if it's gonna be slightly longer though. I wonder if it's because it is like an intervallo trailer, so I wonder if they're actually do a if it'll be like 3 to 4 minutes instead of just like a really quick one. And no, we're not gonna use an hour on it. At least I'd hope. I am doing this like during work hours or whatever. If I was a responsible human being, I would be doing work or something right now. We can refresh. Also, fucking chat just going off here. I'm wilding it. Chat froze. Chat died. Rip. Like, but this works well because now I don't have to use time at the start of the stream later today. The Arknights stream, I don't have to use time watching the trailer at the start of that. We can instead watch it here, and then I can focus fully on chapter 15 later today. We'll begin shortly. We'll begin shortly. We should get the little countdown for premiere, right? And yeah, we know Ish, obviously. We know Ish, and if for some reason they don't do forced Keltsit, I don't know what they were up to. Like, come on, let's be real. We'll refresh again. Oh, there it is. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, no, yeah. Indeed, we have countdown. Check our quality. Countdowners. Surely we're at Faustsit. That probably is what we're gonna start calling it, isn't it? Faustsit. Yeah, premieres always have the countdown. It's live streams that don't have like the countdown. This is the premiere. Because I opened up the video and I was like, oh wait, it says premiere? Oh, it's just the PV. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No way. Limbus company. Dante? Are you Dante? Okay, well that's some Seaborn music. Mimi! Donkey! Saving my bacon. Okay, yep. All Iberia. The Rebellion de las Masas. Okay, she's the event reward. She did the move. She did the Skadi move. And they have the very angular... Okay, goodness. Orca! Skadi! Kya! Alright, corrosion! Of course. Which is obviously not a thing in Arknights. Also, it's a little loud in my ears. Also, we just saw the enemies. It is just straight up the Seaborns. It's just straight up them. A repetitive venture, no way. Link? No, that you okay. Well, so it's not all abyssal hunters. A Link? I mean, it makes sense. No! Honglu. Drunk sister. Okay, it makes so much sense. But also, I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't actually go like more abyssal hunters instead. So story is somewhat separate from the egos. Also, yep, look, it's just straight up the enemies from Arknights. It's just them. Oh, the lighthouse. I'm gonna read these later. We'll rewatch and read the text. It would be a little boring if it was all abyssal hunters, so I'm glad that they didn't do that. Forced. Huh? The Celtic summon who summon monster? Huh? Double summon? Summon Inception? With like Surtur style sword, however. Command meltdown, no way. Beam! Never mind, it wasn't beam. I thought they were gonna beam. Okay, Gregor. So, Seaborn music. It is Hans! It's Uncle! This we did somewhat see. It is Uncle Gregor. No way. Uncle. He has a normal arm. He became Hans. Or actually, maybe he's just on a Hans. Ooh, impact frame. Masha text. Japanese in my Limbus? Huh? What? Okay, and they did just use straight up the enemies from just Undertides. Gee, I wonder if that line there was relevant in some way. Also, Doctor. Doctor. No way. Doctor? Greg do be horsing around. No way. Okay, so, well, pretty much all the egos made a lot of sense. Let's see if the actual trailer is up. Or the video version. We have to wait for the premiere to end, I guess. Pretty cool animations. This was pretty much like... did you click the like button? No. Limbus Island is real, though. Like, yeah, pretty much what I guess... What me as a... Also, it's 5 minutes. What me as a... resident confirmed collab hater wanted was to just kind of see some cool animations and cool art and stuff. Which I think is what we got. And okay, so all the egos made a lot of sense. I think the one that was most like, oh, was Ling Honglu. That was probably the main one that was like somewhat surprising. But obviously it makes a lot of sense. So they decided with the egos to more so go with a better match for the character rather than a better match for the story. Ish was very easy. you can combine that with the story as well, since they decided to do a Seaborn story. Forced Keltsit was a fucking no-brainer. It was as obvious as Ish Skadi, or even more obvious than Ish Skadi. Honglu Dragon's pretty cool. I think it's a good choice. And indeed, Gregor Mlynar does also make a lot of sense. It was one of our, like, one of the main guesses for who Gregor would get. It was indeed Mlynar. Just because they're the old sad uncle. And I guess, you know, Mlynar kind of has like the whole glove arm thing going on. So also, yeah, Gregor hair down. And also, yeah, also, yes, all the chosen operators are very popular ones. Oh, all of them were HE except Gregor, who was WoW. Oh yeah, Gregor is WoW. Says it right there. Well, I'm kind of hiding it, but Gregor is indeed WoW. 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 The others were HE. Yep, HE Keltsit, HE Ling, HE-ish. Ish is the free one. And then the others are in the banner. Obviously, we don't actually have information on the banner here. Have they put anything on Twitter yet? Let's see. Get wish shot if I don't say don't really that wow for this collab. No. I am collab hater. Like, I could 100% live in a world without this collab. It might even be my preferred world to some extent. And yeah, we don't have any extra information yet. We'll get them soon. Your division talks to keyboard. Is anything else about one stuff that's important? So it's just the level of the collab, or level of the collab. It's the level of the ego. Generally, like, there's essentially tiers to egos, and currently, WoW is WoW, however you say it. I never remember. Is just the highest tier, so they're usually the strongest, but then they also cost more to use. That's the main differentiation between them. Is just how costly they are and generally how strong they are then as well. Coming to my door in 2 business days. Yeah, look, I am collab hater, but it's not like I campaign against collabs super actively and like you personally should not enjoy collabs. I generally don't do that. It's more so I just don't care about them, and I do want to put my opinion out there that I don't care about them because I'm an egotistical fuck. But I still get something of value out of this, essentially just because you get some crossover art, which is usually pretty cool. We get some cool animations. We get some cool art. And in that way, I get value out of it in like a material sense of that. They did give her the big old sword, though. This is like a fucking Surtur-style sword, by the way. Just that you prefer if they continue the actual game story instead of something that is a side thing that doesn't progress in any way. Kinda, yeah. Often it is like, I would rather just have more of the thing that I already came for. Like, I guess Cal does also have a sword. Did it look like that in the CG? Wait. Does it look like that in the CG? It's... What is it? Is it chapter 14? Is it chapter 14 CG? Absolved. What chapter is it? Possible spoilers for people. This is not the correct place. Episodes article. Gallery. It's not chapter 14, is it? No, it's earlier. It's like chapter... What's it now? I might just be able to go to Keltsit, actually. Why don't you go to Keltsit? Gallery? If we scroll down carefully... Never mind, it's not in here. Yeah, the Steam Knights. That's the one I'm thinking of. Is it... Which fucking chapter is it? Actually, it might be chapter 11. Is it episode 11? It is. There it is. Well, okay, we can barely see the sword, but it does not look like a crystal sword. I'll say that much at least. It just looks like a sword, mostly hidden. It does not exactly look like this sort of craggly crystal thingy. So this is, I mean, this is very much just more like I was gonna say portmanteau of, you know, Monster and Faust's sword, which portmanteau is not the correct terminology, but I think you get what I mean. It's a mix of Faust's Zweihander and just, you know, Monster and crystallization, all that. Ishar Mla, Ishar underscore Mla, no way. New VTuber, Ishar underscore Mla. Marimari underscore EN. Well, so yeah, it wasn't, it was indeed, the corrosion for Scotty is indeed, it's Scotty, not Ishar Mla. Top of a head looking weedy. Okay, let's watch it again real quickly. Monster did turn into a sword somehow, yes. The fact that the double summon Celtic is wild. I'll also try and read all the text this time. Possibly pausing. This time around we'll pause stuff if I need to. Donkey, Amimi, my bacon. The fact that I just is sometimes Dante just speak funny. The Dante just sometimes speak funny. Thanks for saving my bacon and whatever else the guy says. Okay, there, the dimensional door. So I mean, seemingly, I guess we'll see if the sinners are there, but at least based off of this, it seems like only Dante is there. Natural autism. Connect to something very resistant to something that we've never observed before. So, you know, this is how the connection works. Dante has ended up in Iberia, which, if you don't know as a Limbus fan, Iberia is Arknights' world's version of like Spain and Portugal. Which is inhabited by bird people, and then a sea next to it, which is inhabited by fish people. I like that they kept the I like that they kept the extremely angular effects of base Scotty's attacks for the ego. How sword is just a basic ass sword? No, that's what I thought, yeah. It looks very basic. No Vergi with bun ears, dude, imagine. Also, pretty long animation for this one, actually. I like this part. The fucking zoom kick. An orca. See, this part is fun. Also, just seeing Arknights characters. I think I said this on the Discord already. Just seeing Arknights characters in the Limbus art style is also just kind of fun. Skadig. Dude, will we get a version of Ish doing the Skadig? And obviously Orca. Also, there's a little bit more to the outfit than we saw on the teaser. There's like a lot of wispy extra stuff to it, and it's not just Scotty's basic outfit. It is, yes, it is thigh gap. Look, I must explain to you, this thigh gap has an important reason, okay? It is mimicking the markings of an actual orca whale. It's not fan service, okay? It is biologically, taxonomically accurate orca whale design. We'll call the tummy window that as well. Whirlpool. I wish I could. Can I like pause a little bit just to see the design a little bit better? A bit earlier. I think we have a better shot of just corrosion fish. Sure, AK player. Has a little mark on his head. Look at the little. Well, I'm kind of hiding it. There's a little mark on head. Oh, you do, however, see so it's not Ishar corrosion, which says nothing to Limbus players, but Tarkin's players says something. It does, however, have the fishies. It has the sort of red-pink fishies of Ishar. Did you hear that? That was an email. Did you hear that? I don't know. I just got an email. I assure you, Limbus fan, this side gap is crucial to the AK collab lore. I swear it is. I don't think regular Scotty has... Never mind. Are they in the... Are they in her just normal... They actually might just be in her normal E2, now that I think about it. Okay, they're literally there in the normal E2. I'm fucking stupid. They're extremely prominent in Scotty Alter, but they are also just there normally. Okay, I'm schizo. Early stream just for the Limbus thing. Okay, there we can see the design a little bit more. Very Seaborn nightmare looking, with some Ishmael hair in there. Messages due tomorrow. Fuck. Yeah, today's gonna be a wash, and that's the reason I'm even doing this now, is because today's gonna be a wash work-wise anyway. I can't focus on anything until I've done chapter 15, man. I've been losing it for the last few days. I did actually. I've been getting work done, but I've also been losing it. Is there? Oh yeah, there is double head. Yeah, there is. There's like an alien mouth. It's double mouth. Big head, smaller head coming out of mouth. Funny. First time gacha game collabs with another gacha game that isn't from the same company? No, absolutely not. There is absolutely some that exist. This is the first time, however, that the collab is like minorly cool. Not personal opinion, objective fact by me. It does look a little IS3 mid-bossy, but not really. I think it's just sort of similar design elements. Objective opinion. Okay, so Dante will get some lore dumps. Also, I'm assuming this is Amia because the text is blue. Explaining eripathy to the limb babies. Yeah, this just makes a lot of sense. Also, I'm hiding the... I hit the wrong thing, wait. To remain oneself is the name. What was the name for Ishmael? Wait. Tidal elegy. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, it's Ling Honglu, which makes sense. They're the Chinese representatives of the stuff, you know? So like this makes a lot of sense. This, I feel like Honglu was the hardest one to guess an ego for. I guess going for some Sui would have been a safe bet just because of China. However, the one I didn't mention this yet. One, I do like that they went this because it just shows that they did also indeed consider they weren't limited by like gender. Like, oh, the girls have to have girls and the boys have to have boys. No, they were allowed to do the Limbus thing of, no, they will just like randomly, like they will just select whatever fits best and no matter sex or gender. One of Dusk or Chongyue. I feel like out of all the Sui siblings, Honglu actually does have like the most in common with like Ling. Overall. Yeah, very, very aloof, yes. There's an aloofness. There are different types of aloofness, but there's a similar vibe that matches. Also, they have a similar, like, it's very easy to make Ling's staff into Honglu's, oh god, it's not called a halberd. What's it called? I can't remember. But yeah. I feel like this is kind of, also, they kind of have like even, they have, Ling and Honglu actually even have similar color schemes and like some design bits to them. The white and like light blue, sky blue with the white, the long black hair. Except Ling is actually blue hair, but you know. Ling is fairly popular. Ling is not the most popular Sui sibling, but is fairly popular. So it also shows that indeed they didn't just consider who's most popular. They did also pick it based on character. Like it actually seems like they... Scotty's obviously, you know, there's, yeah, and anyway, I think like these just show that they did really, Glaive, yeah, Guandao. It does just show that they did actually consider, like, quite properly and from multiple different perspectives of what operator to choose for who. Does Arknights have a canonically Korean country? I don't think it actually does. No, it doesn't. There's China and then there's like sort of Japan. A Saga could have also worked, yeah. But then if you think of a little bit of popularity, then a Sui sibling makes more sense. But the weapon especially fits so well. And then you get to summon dragons, which you see in like Honglu stuff in general. Is there, maybe there is, because there might be like a sort of area of Higashi, which is Arknights Japan. There might be some like smaller area that is kind of supposed to be kind of the Korean area, even if it's not like a full nation. Which does happen. It's not the only case where that happens. There are a bunch of nations and countries which kind of amalgamate multiple different nations from real life into sort of the same place. Cool that they have the dragon like combination for the Limbabs. Ling, this character in the game, is a summoner. She summons dragons, and in one of the skills that she has, she can fuse 2 dragons into a bigger dragon, and that's this one. Hot woman and hot man. Look at them. Look. They got the same face. It's the same person. Like, look. When you look at... Well, obviously, Honglu is wearing Ling's outfit, sort of. But if you look at... if you remember Honglu's outfit from, like... Grown-up Honglu when he had yet not left on his journey to Limbus Company, has a very, like, similar color scheme in his outfit. Ling does look a little... Ling looks... That's some smug. That is some smug. I accidentally typed in chat instead of playing the video. Also, Ling, right, if Ling speaks almost exclusively in Chinese poetry, which I feel also somewhat fits Honglu. Kanto 8 has multiple points where there's just narration of Chinese poetry. And it's Honglu saying them. Also, yeah, these enemies are just straight up ripped out. They just ripped out the Undertides and Stultifera enemies just straight into Limbus. Like, these are not like new designs just for Limbus. These are like the guys. These are the bastards from Arknights. The Arknights community, generally speaking, hates these motherfuckers. Every single one of them. To varying degrees. Some of them a lot. There might be some terrible, terrible enemies and terrible mechanics in the actual event fights, because this event theme in Arknights has some nightmare mechanics in it. No egg yet, Baka. They might pull the egg in. Or the evader, or any number of them. Nice impact frames. Big sword. 2 of them operating on fundamentally different levels. No further elaboration is necessary. Particular power strategies are not part of the manager Dante's obligations. And if there is a chance for them to gain such... Okay, so this should be forced. Okay, this is false speaking, isn't it? Okay, so the sinners are there. The sinners are there. They should be false speaking. Okay, well, confirmation. I'm hiding it again. That is what Faust has judged. Dude, are we gonna get dialogue between Faust and Keltsit? The yappers meet? When HP drops below stagger threshold, did damage to all sinners on field and apply nervous corrosion debuff. Yeah, or imagine if the enemies actually have the thing that eggs have. which is when you damage the eggs, they just stagger you. Like, they just build up a status that then staggers you. And also does AoE damage to everyone. I just noticed that. The outfit combination in some parts actually looks a little funky. What's going on? Also slightly a different hairstyle. Irene less popular, so benched. Yep. Well, they only did one Abyssal, like, themed operator, which I think is better. I think it's more fun to see varying combinations rather than all of them have been, like, Abyssal Hunter related. Cali would intmog Faust. Yes, absolutely. Discord. Faust requires Discord to be smart. Keltsid does not. I still can't get over being a double summon. Faust summons Keltsid so that Keltsid can summon monster. Funny ideas. Monster going off? I do wonder if this is true damage. So if you're not aware, Keltsid was the girl who was summoned as the pairing, the actual operator who Faust is paired with. Keltsid has this dragon thing. This thing has this as a summon. In game, this thing deals true damage, and quite a bit of it. So we're wondering if it'll actually be true damage as well. Probably not. It could just indeed be rupture. I don't think they'd put like actual genuine true damage in. It would maybe be rupture. Only in S3, yes, but I mean that's like your main skill, you know. Also, like the anime. Oh, actually, literally, I just realized the effects even used here actually look like the S3 effects of the skill in game. No, because Limbus doesn't have like actual true damage. Rupture is true damage, but it's, you know, a status effect thing. Is there any other true damage? Like actual true damage? Isn't it just rupture? Scotty summons my heart. Command Meltdown is S3, yeah. It's also, yeah, indeed. It is literally named S3. Command Meltdown is the skill name for Keltsid that deals true damage. Maybe I should be on this other fucking side. Nah, it's too late. I'm just staying on this side. But yeah, the S3 also has like, it's the same color scheme of damage. Madam Yapper. Madam Yapper and Madam Yapper. Double Madam Yapper, no way. Also, I just realized why I was thinking Faust looks like slightly strange, I guess, or whatever. Give me a second. It's because it's like Keltsid design, but there's no ears. It's earless Keltsid. They fucking stole her ears. Earless cat girl. No. Also, monster has engorged itself and become large and started wielding a sword. Walk across the dust? A walk in the dust? No way. That's an event name in Arknights. That's Keltsid event. No way. I was really hoping this was gonna be a beam. It is not monster beam that we see in the anime. Monster just like body slams the ground. I was really hoping for a big beam. Also, I guess that is Fauster, yeah. Corporations, pursuit of profit. Activities of your corporation resemble those of charity organizations as opposed to a pharmaceutical company. There's a little bit more than just charity organization going on. Let's not show them the PMC portion of the pharmaceutical company. Oh, that might be Maria. No, it's Yi Sung. Is there aught? It instantly recognizes Yi Sung. Is there aught? Dagai. Oh yeah, what's this called? Unbrilliant Glory is what it's called. Unbrilliant Glory. And indeed, this is a wow. A wow. Ego. Other ones were HE or he. This also just makes sense. There is just similarity between Gregor and Ankh. They fit together as a pair. And some very cool animation. Big Excalibur charge. Ankh. Look at him. He looking cool. You know where Monster got that beam? She has no such thing in both Spine and Gremlin form. Monster actually had a beam in the beta for Arknights. Monster did have a beam. And she also now has it in the anime. She still has her beam. Just in actual game for Arknights, she indeed never gets the beam. I wonder if this would get reflect damage as a passive, yeah. I think they did use mostly S3. Was Scotty's as... Maybe they were. Oh, they might be. Also, no ears here either, but for some reason here it doesn't look strange that there isn't ears. Also, actually, wings on the back. Also, yeah, is there any Pablo? I don't think there's Pablo. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I also wonder if this Ego would get aggro passive or something. Mlynar in Arknights has reflect damage and aggro, so... And yeah, Pegasus. So the wings make sense. No. It's just, obviously, they're also, like, you know, kind of dark and sort of disheveled, and they're not very glorious wings. Title LG Command Meltdown and Brilliant Glory. Okay, they are. At least those probably are, then. Is Ling? Ling's was to remains oneself or something like that. I want to go Mlynar smug here. More so just like... It's just Mlynar face. Like, he looks annoyed. He looks minorly pissed off, as he does at all times. That is his default face. Okay, it is all S3s. Okay, makes sense. Oh, yeah. Is he actually part of the horse, or is he just riding it? I think he is part of the horse. Yes, he is part of the horse. He did become, like, centaur, but there's also a horse head. Mlynar face looking at Virgilius. I mean, Virgi and Mlynar do also have some similarities in how they act and so on, so... Like, that is also... Obviously, we can't give Virgilius, you know, a Mlynar ego. Yeah, this is to capitalize on the Uma Musume hype, which is already dead, kind of, but, you know. Nice impact frames. Inquisition. Most of the text is all, like, Arknights lore stuff. So, I mean, just going off of the text that there's the little text bits that they put here, they are clearly gonna go through the effort of actually also explaining, like, the basics. To someone who doesn't know Arknights, they will be explaining the kind of the stuff you need to be aware of for Arknights world. They're explaining Iberia-specific stuff, they're explaining Eripathy, and so on and so on. They will be lore dumping, yes. But Dante will be getting exposition dumped on by someone. The language is new, but the idea itself is pretty familiar to the city folks like us. Oh yeah, how do they don't speak, how do they speak language? I guess they'll find a way. Yeah, Europathy basics won't be super relevant for Seaborn stuff specifically, but it's more so just, it's such an integral part of Arknights itself that you do have to explain it. You can't just like ignore the Europathy stuff. Think of Feathers of Fallen Wings, kids born in the backstreets, people who replace their body parts for prosthetics. Okay. Oh, dude, they're also lore dumping on the Arknights people. The essence remains. Amimi! Dante! I believe we knew this already. I think we did know that Amia was the announcer. Oh yeah, we see more enemies. We see the running fuck enemies. The sleepy ones that then aggro. So wait, what is... Okay, it was just a dog. Those monsters seem to realize that you're the one who's giving orders. Oh yeah, they get to now deal with Seaborn. Seaborn, for those who do not know, are an eldritch horror hive mind that will endlessly adapt to what you're doing. And yeah, Amiya talks in Japanese, of course, because that's like the Amiya voice. Seaborn are absolute bastards. They're a terrible eldritch nightmare, both in universe and in game. They're horrific beings. Felt very much the same way. Their strategy and behavior changed with fluidity as though they were rapidly learning our patterns. This is what they do. You can never fight them for terribly long, because if it drags out, they will simply just learn to counter you. Doctor. Efficient order, natural altruism, explaining the Seaborn. Because they are indeed a hive mind that all just work together for one cause. Like, they... I wonder if they'll run into them. If they'll have any of them in the event. But the Seaborn do have, like most of them are just kind of like, you know, kind of seem like mindless monsters. But they do have, like, actual sentient, intelligent beings in the Seaborn hive mind. Which just makes things much worse for those going against them. Constantly change team to stop them from adapting to it, imagine. Terrible. No. And yeah, right, they're called, the phrase or the terminology for the hive mind is we many. Because that's how they speak, that's how the Seaborn speak. They say like, we many are blah, 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 blah. The ones that can speak. Okay, actually, it wasn't actually talking about the Seaborn. It was just talking about virtues that the humans should not lose. Efficient order, natural altruism. Except, right, this is a funny... Actually, I actually kind of like this little comparison that they did. So, efficient order, natural altruism is indeed what the... Whoa! Hey, thank you for the raid! Suchi, welcome. We're just going through the trailer again, explaining things. Welcome. Yeah, so I mean, this is what the Seaborn is. Efficient order, natural altruism. But I do like that then they're like, oh, both virtues humanity should never lose sight of. There is human aspects to the Seaborn hive mind. But there's no such thing as absolutes when it comes to the value of life. This is a very fun line for them to put in at this moment in time with what is happening on the global server of Arknights. Big story things are happening, and this particular theme is very important to it. So I find it fun that they've put this into the collab event. Motherfuckers knew indeed. They knew. So that's fun. I do wonder if they actually timed some of this almost like on purpose then. Like hey, well, because obviously this event releasing next week. So, you know. KJ must have chuckled to himself writing this. Some writer chuckled to themselves. Like, And then obviously this cool shot. And indeed, we indeed know that this portal thingy is just how the Limbus people ended up somehow transported to Arknights world. And it's indeed confirmed that it is all happening seemingly within Terra, within Arknights world, rather than the other way around. Is next week gonna have chapter 16 stuff as well? I might. And the Enfield news cult. Or is that just your expectation, your guess, cope? You know, collapsals. Because, yeah, right. So some of us in the Arknights community were a little confused because there was like sea stuff, which was very obvious. Like there's a boat and there's sea, which is like, oh, so it's like Seaborn stuff. But this particular black hole looking thing is an imagery that is extremely heavily tied to another type of terrible eldritch horror that exists in the Arknights universe. But they're in a completely different area. They are not by the sea. They're like they're called demons, but they're essentially like the outworldly beings that don't quite exist in the material universe, and then they possess shit, and they're called collapsals, and they're often colloquially called demons, as they possess people and objects and so on. But they exist on the complete other end of the continent, way up north in like the ice fields, in like Antarctica or whatever, like the North Pole. So we were a little confused on like this imagery, but then also the sea. So, but clearly this is just like a, you know, it's like a coincidence. Though there could be some very the deep lore of like, okay, they were somehow involved in specifically just the portal part of it. But then they just didn't end up where all the other collapsals, the demons, are. Instead, they ended up in Iberia for the Seaborns. Fourth dimensional ass being, yeah. Scandinavia jump scare. Yes, because the area that the collapsals are mostly active in is indeed based on Scandinavia and Russia. So in that way, it is well, it's just interesting. Because they could have indeed done it also by, indeed, like up north with the collapsals and the demons and so on. With the portal and all this stuff. But I think the Seaborn makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of elements to the Seaborn storyline that I think just lend themselves thematically and vibe-wise to Project Moon and Limbus Company. More so, I feel, than the collapsals. Like out of all the sort of, if you had to choose one of the threats in the Arknights world to deal with in a Project Moon setting, the Seaborn, I feel, fit best vibe-wise and thematically. So I'm not surprised that they decided to do this one. Or decided to choose that as the like event story. Timeline after Underties? Yeah, we'll see what the exact timeline is. If we can even get any idea on what the timeline is. Maybe, depending on what they mention, we might be able to get an idea. It would probably be post Undertides and Stultifera, if nothing else. Just because, like, Amia, for example, is there. And Doctor. Doctor and Amia were not in Iberia during Stultifera Navis. They only got there later. Actually, Amia didn't get there even then, but, you know, we'll see. Hope it's voiced. It probably isn't, right? It probably won't be voiced. And I'm actually wondering if it will be one of those things where it won't actually get voiced in the future either. That was one thing I wondered. Because Doctor doesn't have a VA. Or Doctor has a VA, but they only exist in the anime. Doctor is not voiced essentially anywhere else other than the anime. Like, we do have the Amia announcer, but because obviously it's an intervallo. It is, like, it's a special intervallo, but it is an intervallo still, which currently intervallos do not get voiced on their first release. So I think it is possible that this one will not be voiced. But then also the thing is, it might not get a rerun in the same way that the other intervallos do. So it might not even get voicing, which, however, the thing is that also solves one issue, which is indeed having then Amia voiced and having the Arknights characters voiced in there, who then might end up being, like, if they were voiced, they would be voiced like in Japanese, possibly, which would be strange. Like you'd have Korean speaking and then Japanese speaking suddenly. Also, indeed, none of the, like, there's no voice lines in the trailer other than the Amia announcer one, which is usually how it is for intervalos that indeed don't have voicing to them. So my guess is that it won't be voiced, and also probably that it will not be voiced in the future either. Like we won't get a rerun of it that then adds the voices. I think this is going to be an exception to the current status quo of intervalo voices. AK does have KR VAs, yes. We do have Korean VAs for a fair chunk of characters, and obviously for like Lamia. But since they, for example, they chose Japanese for the announcer voice, for example, which however makes sense because Tomoyo, the JP voice for Amiya, is extremely iconic as Amiya. Like that is the Amiya, is Tomoyo. Is the JP voice for Amiya. Which is why they chose that as like the announcer. But yeah, my guess is that it won't be voiced, possibly ever. So, hey, Shalpad. Oh yeah, is Gregor and Mlynar the same KR Korean VA? Are they? Because yeah, obviously yes, because there are obviously some overlap. Arknights has a bunch of characters who, like, there's shared VAs between the games. I think Forced is, or Keltsid is not, I think, voiced by the same. Was Gregor the same VA? Greg's VA is Lee, right? AK Collab with our success and they started adding different languages for dubs. It started before that. I don't think it was the R6 collab where they did it. I think we started getting EN dub before it already. Also, yeah, there's no Korean VA for Doc. Doc only has Japanese and CN because it's for the anime. Can you see the Seaborn inflict nervous impairment in the PV? No, the combat goes very quickly and so on. Honglu's VA dub KR Tequila. Okay. Yeah, I don't think any of the I don't think they end up sharing voice actors for the ones that were chosen for the actual egos. I don't think we have like shared voice actors. Oh, that you can. They hit Asian Faust. Wait, where is it? Where do they attack? Here? It's around here. I'll actually mute it a little bit because it's so loud. Can we? Here they do some hittings. Yeah, you do get some like little effect here. I guess actually, yeah, maybe it is. The text is kind of covering, but you do see a little effect when they've been hit. So yeah, we might be getting nervous impairment, which is the status that I mentioned. That is a terrible, terrible thing. It builds up, and then once it's full, it stuns you for a long time, and also does true damage. So yeah, you do get like this little, this blue effect, which could indeed be like a nervous impairment effect. Don't know who Mlynar is. The connection with Greg's character hasn't made some sense, but this guy seems random. Oh, Baka's got you. Baka's got you. I'll read it out loud because it is a good summary of Mlynar to Gregor. Mlynar is an ex-soldier who stopped daydreaming about making big changes in the world and instead is pretty depressed 24/7. Still has a strong sense of justice, though. Yes, and also like bottles it up inside constantly. Also, they're both old. Ex-knight though, not soldier. Well, in this case, knights were often also soldiers, you know. Maybe they just do SP damage. We'll see. We'll see if they actually give them like a unique status. They could. They could just have a unique status that they afflict that when it reaches a certain stack, then it does something. Celtic does just appear straight up, yeah. I wonder if this was a thing that they were like, we really just need to have Keltsit just appear straight up as Keltsit. They're not old, they're not even 40. They're pretty unks though. They're spiritually much older, okay? The double summon for Keltsid is funny. Forced summons Keltsid. Also, Keltsid fucking pops in with like a hero pose. Why is she like Superman posing? What's she doing? Keltsid, what are you doing? This is not you. And then she acts like she didn't just come in with this cringe pose. He's like, no. I'm actually just standing normally. And then the summoned Keltsid summons monster who actually does the attacks. Find the pose cringe, really? Look, it's a good word to use. It's just a good word to use. It's just, this pose, the main thing is this pose is just not Keltsid. I guess they needed a pose for her like appearing and so on, but this pose is just not Keltsid in character, and that's the main thing. I just find it slightly funny. It is a very sort of a bit of an out of character pose is all. Do we know if this collab banner will go from past experience? All 3 egos gonna be on one banner? No idea, because we actually don't have any specific precedent for like this type of banner, really. And we also don't know if there's gonna be anything like lower pity or lower sparks. I'm assuming rates are maybe gonna be the same still, or maybe it is gonna be higher rates. There might be, maybe they put in like a lower spark since there's 3 new things on it. But then probably, but also probably since it's going to be like fully limited. But just, you know, knowing Project Moon, it's probably not going to be like an absolutely brutal banner to try and get everything on. I assume that probably they're all going to be on one banner, though. We're getting one for free, yeah. Ishmael is the free one. Like, Ishmael is the event reward. And then Keltsid, Honglu, and Gregor are, or forced, Honglu and Gregor, are the ones that are on banner. They're probably going to be on the same banner. Maybe the main thing that they do is that maybe they give them slightly higher rates. And maybe they're like the only egos that appear on the banner or something. And maybe they lower the spark amount. So, we'll see. We'll see. All the egos are really easy to fit into your gameplay except Forced HE. Yeah, Forced does indeed. Forced has some competition for ego slots. Also, yeah, indeed, egos already aren't there. If you already have all the egos, then they're not in the pool. But a lot of people will not have all the egos. So I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe make these the only egos that are on banner. It's the only time Keltsid will be summoned as a stand. She's taking full advantage of this moment to do a JoJo pose. Also, there is something about her appearing in this pose and then so quickly, like standing upright and standing normally. There's something humorous about it to me. It's like she does this pose and then realizes like, oh wait, people are watching me. The way it stands up is like, okay, people are watching me. Never mind. I gotta lock in. I am Keltsid. Yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. I will not be rolling. I will not be acquiring a single one of these egos. That is simply just not what I do. I will be reading the story. I'll be talking about it. I will be possibly critical about it. I am going in, essentially, with a critical bias. But I will try and grab what value and enjoyment I can out of it. And then I will consider it non-canon And I will not roll or acquire any of the egos or the announcer or anything, because I do not want them on my account, because that is like how I like to separate my games and my IPs. I like them being in their like bubbles for the most part. So, especially in game. It's like a collab that's completely outside somewhere. Like they have a collab with a store or something in real life. I'm like, okay, whatever, who cares? I will not be gambling. Ishmael's Ego is a reward, yes, but it's probably a reward that you buy from the event store, like every other free unit in Limbus. So it's very easy to avoid it. I will simply just not pick it up. We did talk about the timing, listen a lie, especially with this line right here at the end. They knew what the timing is intentional. Mentions like HSR for some reason. Terrible. I sure fucking hope it's not. I respect the opinion, but you know, no. I know that I'm the outlier. I am the weirdo when it comes to my take and stance on like in-game collabs. And the thing is, I'm not technically even fully like consistent with it, because for some games I don't really care. I don't really care if Monster Hunter has like random collabs in it, and sometimes even I'll use the random collab parts or whatever they have. But then for other games, I do care. I respect your tism. Yeah, it is my form of tism. It's the one, like, generally considered to be a weird, odd, even bad take. That's how I am. Most people are always just purely excited about collabs, and I always look at them either indifferently or like pretty much the best I get is indifferent. Or maybe some like, okay, at least I'll get some like cool fan art out of it or something. But then for the most part, I'm either indifferent or sometimes actively dislike them. Some collabs I actively dislike. There are some Arknights collabs that I just straight up do not like because of a multitude of reasons. Hates collabs but rolls wall PP. Ah yes, wall PP. Famous collab. I guess you could collab with Lobotomy Corporation, collab with Ruina. See, that's the collab between PM games that exist in the same timeline, in the same universe. It's the same joke as, dude, what if Enfield collabs with Arknights? Huh? You will not attempt it because you don't want. I will not attempt it because I hate MD farm. What do you mean? Just gamble. You don't have to farm MD. Just gamble instead. Every Sinner ID is a collab. It's real. Absolutely collabs. I honestly, they're not even handled as collabs in the game. So like, I truly don't see it as the same. No way, Rhodes Island in Enfield. Right, imagine. I have a lot of Lunashi, but indeed I also don't have anything to use it on right now. And I mean, Whoopi's still gonna be a fair, some way away. And I'm gonna save. I'm gonna be saving a lot of rolls by not having to gamble on the collab banner. However, because that is actually one thing that indeed I actually take as a positive out of the collab banners is they're extremely easy savings for me. Like, I don't have to, I see other people struggling with like, oh God, the collab is coming. I don't have the rolls. No. I don't have to suffer through that. So like, in a way, I feel bad for the people who do. Because I don't have to, like, it's very easy for me. I don't have to suffer or take any kind of mental damage from like a FOMO or something. Because I don't care. For like the actual in-game collab parts. especially like units and stuff, where I actively don't want them on my account. But I'll still be, obviously for this collab, I'll still be reading it. I'll read it. I'll take some value out of it. There'll at least be some fun interactions probably. I'll get some good art out of it. So, you know, you don't feel bad for them, you smug bastard, and know where you are. It can be both. I can feel good about it and also kind of feel bad about it. Well, I don't have to feel bad about it. I feel bad for them. Look, it's called empathy, okay? Or sympathy, it's one of them. I can have that while also feeling a slight sense of superiority. Because I don't have to deal with it. And I can be still smug about it. Like, I don't have to roll. I can just save. Easy. Finnish people have no empathy. Stop lying. That is, however, a good point. That's kind of a good point. We only have empathy if we're extremely drunk. And actually, I'm not sure if we do even back then. So never mind. I take that back. Pretends he's human. True. Streamers are not human. You should know this. You should be aware that streamers are not human. What superiority you play a gacha game? Multiple gacha games, actually. So yeah, that, you know, really knocks you down a couple pegs once you realize it. Once you internalize that suffering of you are a gacha game player, you know, it sometimes keeps you humble. Anyway, okay. That'll be it. I need to go do some actual other stuff and maybe like work and stuff. Later today, in about, I don't know, 3.5 hours, we will be reading Arknights chapter 15, which I have been waiting for a long time. Finally, I can read. And then we continue tomorrow. We're not going to finish all of it today. But thanks for coming to this one. I won't make a video out of this or whatever. This can be a VOD for Limbus people to come and watch the reaction and also learn about Arknights and whatnot. So see you in some hours if you're interested in Arknights chapter 15. Goodbye. Bye-bye. See you later.